What's up, guys? Back with yet another twink video, this time for the Guardian Druid at level 11. Now, I am aware that there is a cat weaving build out there, and I do intend to make a separate video for that one entirely, so that's not going to be in this video. This one's strictly for the Guardian Druid. So this will include gems, enchants, the gear, and where to find it, and I'll also go over what to talent into and stat weights. Well, let's get into it. All right, guys, to start this off, you have two options for the helmet, and the first one being the quest Saving the Sporlocks. This can be located in Zangarmarsh in the Cenarian Refuge. You're going to pick up the Umberfen Tribe quest first from Ikean, and then once you complete that, Lorana will actually give you the quest that gives this item after that. This helm can proc epic, and it comes with 3 sockets. For your second option, if you prefer a meta gem instead for your helmet, you can go for Helm of Anomalous, which drops from Anomalous in the Nexus in Wrath of the Lich King. Now for shoulders, you're going to get the Spalders of the Careless Thief, which drops from Grand Magus Telestra in the Nexus. For your chest piece, you have 2 options. The first one being Waste Walker Tunic, drops off of Keladon the Breaker in the Blood Furnace. Now, if you couple this with the other piece mentioned later, you'll get a 2-set bonus for Critical Strike. And for the second option, I would go for this if you haven't managed to get the chest piece for option number 1 to drop, but this one drops from Swamp Lord in the Underbog called Tunic of the Night Watcher. For hands, you have 2 options as well. Waste Walker Gloves being option 1, and it couples with the chest from the last image. This drops from Warchief Kargath Blade Fist in the Shattered Halls. I was a little confused when I first saw this because, level 11's in the Shattered Halls. So I went and confirmed. I went in. You can go in and clear this. You cannot queue for it. So you'll need to go to Outlands and actually physically walk in to get this to drop. Now, option 2 would be the same situation as the previous for chest, but for hands, I would only go for deft handguards in the event that you're unable to get the other gloves, or just use them as a placeholder. The second option drops off the last boss in the Slave Pens. Moving on to legs, you have 2 choices for this as well. Both of these drop from the exact same boss in the Blood Furnace. First choice being Moonchild Leggings, and the second choice being Kilt of the Night Strider. Personally, I went for option number 1, but I don't think you're really going to notice much of a difference going for either or. And following the trend here, the belt has 2 options as well. Option 1 being the main go-to that you would want to get, and option 2 being the placeholder. Option 1 being Dune Wind Sash, drops from Gazan in the Underbog, and Liar's Cord for option 2 drops from Rockmar the Crackler in the Slave Pens. Now, for your back piece and wrist, there were no options available to get from dungeons that were worthwhile to even look at. So I would go for any Time Warp piece that either has versatility or mastery, or both, as those are stats that you would really, really want to push for. Now, moving on to your weapon choice, option 1 would be the Crux of Blind Faith, which drops from Advisor Melandris in the Court of Stars. Now, for your secondary options, I know it only says option 2, but Time Warp pieces will do while farming that. But if you have this, the Hellscream's Pig Sticker has 2 gem sockets, and you can use that in place of everything else and have more optional gems to put in there. However, those are only available to people who cleared it during MOP era or were able to get it in MOP Remix. So it won't be available again until they bring MOP Remix out yet again, which I would assume one day they will. For trinkets, I've broken this up into 2 sections. The first choice clearly being Infinitely Divisible Ooze. So to go over this a little bit, it drops from the final boss in Plaguefall and Shadowlands. You must be time walking to have it scale to you and also drop at the right item level. And additionally, anything Shadowlands related, you can skip the Maw quest line, the very first portion of it, do not skip the Ouroboros questline. If you skip the Ouroboros questline, most of your gear, if not all of them, will drop with the requirement of level 50. This might be some kind of bug. I don't know if it's intentional. I have no clue. I don't even know if a ticket will resolve this if you have skipped it in the past. But do not skip Ouroboros. Make sure that you have done that fully. I know it's a little redundant, monotonous, and repetitive, but it's very quick, short, and easy. You literally just talk to a few people, go to Bastion, and then you're done. And also, to make sure that the trinket stays OP, you need to queue for whatever you're queuing for. So an example being Burning Crusade dungeons in the queue for that, and then revert immediately to present timeline and stay in the queue. If you queue for something and stay in that same type of timeline, the slimes will not be broken in OP. Also, to add to the infinitely divisible ooze trinket, if you are queuing for time walking events, it will not be OP. So you may want to use a different trinket during event related time walking and keep the slime for normal time walking. So the difference being, right now during the anniversary, we have time walking Kata, time walking classic. Those scale differently than just going to Chromie and changing your timeline to Burning Crusade and queuing for it. Totally different. So the slime will not work as intended during events, but will during normal time walking. Now, for your second option trinkets after the slime, this is just a few examples and not a list of everything you need or only what you need. This is just two examples that I quickly grabbed. I personally have a trinket from time walking in classic right now during the event, the cannonball trinket that has 9 versatility on it and also spawns a cannon that just blasts things. Pretty awesome. This spot I feel could be user preference. If you have something that you recommend, leave it down in the comments below. Now, if you're a regular of this channel, the rings are going to be the exact same as they are for all the other guides. You can skip this until the end. Now for rings, Mechagon rings are your go-to that you're going to want to aim for. However, it is a time sink. It takes quite a bit of time. So while waiting to get those, I would get either time warp pieces that are available, or if Mythic Plus rotations allow, knock those out and get those rings. Now, pay close mind to what's currently out, Necrotic Wake, which is Shadowlands. If you want this to drop correctly, scroll back up to the, well, I say scroll, go back to the trinket section and refer to what I spoke about, Shadowlands, and how to make sure that your drops drop at the correct item level. For your neck piece, this is the same as well across the board for all twinks for the most part. It is going to be the Amnesia neck piece. This is located in Azure Span in Dragonflight. It is from the rare mob event slash mob. I mean, it kind of pops up a thing called Forgotten Creation. You're going to need to time walk to have it scale to you and also drop it at the appropriate level for you. It's very easy. You knock it out, it drops it. The websites say it's not 100% drop rate, but at this point, I've done it 5 times now, and it's dropped every single time. So I want to say the website's probably wrong. But once you have this, you'll need to obtain tiered medallion settings. You'll need 3 total. You'll need 2 of the 2-star and 1 of the 3-star. You're going to want to use the 2-star ones first on the Amnesia neck. It'll do the first 2 socket pieces, and then the 3-star, use it last to get the 3rd socket. You'll get a total of 3 sockets on this to put your gems into. Moving on to gemming, we're going to start off with the Shadowlands Gems, just like any other twink. You're on this character and this particular class spec combination, you will want to push the 49% speed cap. So on the left side here, you'll want to use 1 of the doublets of each of these across your entire gear set. And then you're going to mix and match the other gems here on the right, the clusters, to add that speed and health regen bonus. Keep in mind, if you have a piece of gear with multiple sockets, you cannot put 2 or 3 of the same exact cluster on there. Technically, it will give you the scaled down +2 per gem. However, it will not give you the bonus speed and health regen after the first one. So the way to do it is if you have a piece of gear with multiple gem sockets and you're not at 49% speed cap yet, you're going to want to put one of each gem in there just to make sure it multiplies the health and speed bonus. Once you reach 49%, though, you'll move on to the next type of gem. So after 49% speed, you literally have one gem that you're going to use. Adept Lava Coral. This scales down to only give +2 and +2 at level 11. And you're going to put this literally in every socket after you reach 49%. That's it. It's pretty easy. Now, keep in mind, though, these things are expensive on the auction house. I haven't experimented yet with the process of crafting it. However, with the previous guides, most of them required dailies just to unlock it, up to 4+ days on some of them. And then some of them even required alchemy to turn it into a specific gem to cut then on the jewel crafter. So if you're on a free to play character, you're probably going to have a hard time getting a hold of this. You may want to subscribe and buy all this stuff and then go free to play. And moving on to enchants for your character, we have a list here. The main focus that I had with setting this up is maximizing attack power and mastery. Mastery will increase your attack power, health, and healing received as a Guardian Druid. Super broken if you stack that. But just remember, even though you're enchanting this, your gear pieces are going to have other stats on it too. So it's not like we're purely stacking only mastery. Versatility is important as well because that helps with your damage output and damage received. So definitely want to go with that in your gear. But for the enchants, if their mastery is available, you want to go for it. If mastery is not available, you want to go for attack power or stats, outright stats. I did put in here the leg reinforcements for leatherworking, which we'll go into more detail here in the next image, but you'll want to go for that too, and go for that first. Now, moving on to leatherworking. I'm highlighting this because it is extremely easy to obtain. You're literally going to go to Missa Pandaria. You're going to go to Clean Pelt here, located in Kunlai Summit. Make sure you bring with you one Eternium thread, and you only need to have level 1 Pandaria leatherworking to do this. You put this on your leg, and then you can drop it. The leg enchant will stay, and you don't need to keep leatherworking. So this is going to be something that you'll want to do once you have your best in slot leg piece. Now, an optional thing you could do is alchemy. I know this slide is about alchemy. However, I'll go over a little bit more. So with alchemy, if you choose to do this, it gives you +4 in your preferred stat. In this case, it'd be agility. These are the materials you'll need and the total amount here in one of the images. But you will need to level all the way to 300 in classic alchemy to be able to craft it. But when you do craft it, you can permanently use it over and over and over. And it'll give you the buff for 2 hours since you are an alchemist, because they give you more time with flasks and elixirs. Now, even though this is about alchemy, I do want to say that the preferred route probably is, like in the previous slide, do leatherworking, knock that out, and then maybe engineering, and then this to have buffs and the speed boots. But if you prefer, you could also go inscription and alchemy, or inscription and engineering. It really doesn't matter. I'm going the route of maximizing agility and whatnot for this class, but it's entirely up to you. Now, for your profession-based enchants, here are the options that you have here. Now, keep in mind, the ones listed here, you will need to keep the profession to be able to enchant and also keep that buff. So, unlike leatherworking, where you can just quickly put it on and drop the profession, these you cannot drop. You have to have them to be able to use them. Now, while gearing this, and then once I was pretty much geared, at this point I'm missing like, I think 1 or 2 pieces. I really didn't use any items, any consumables whatsoever. Now, I could see the benefit of probably having some swiftness potions, maybe health potions if you're still gearing and struggling. But just, you know, at this point, keep in mind while you're gearing, don't overpull. And you'll be fine. You have a self-heal. You have plenty of other abilities that you can use to survive. Unlike most other classes, I mean, you even have a dash, you have a self-heal, you have a travel form. It's just all around a fun class. And lastly, talent trees and abilities. So for this one, you don't really have much of a choice. You have two things you can move into. I personally went into, well, obviously Maul, because it's the only thing on the right side, but that's what you're really leveling to 11-4, is to have Maul. Maul is going to be your single target damage on bosses and your rage dump, basically. Very, very useful. Make sure it's on your action bar. You're also going to use Mangle, Thrash, Swipe, so make sure that's on your action bar. And additionally, you're going to want to put Frenzied Regen somewhere on your action bar as well for big pulls. I use Moonfire for range pulls. And on the left side of your talent tree, I went for the damage increase, the Killer Instinct talent, sorry. But that's pretty much it. It's not very complicated because we're only level 11. Now, as always, I may have neglected some things or forgotten about anything. If I have, please let me know down in the comments. But I want to thank you guys for making it this far and watching this and supporting my channel. I do appreciate all of you. If there was anything that you liked or disliked, also let me know down in the comments. And if you have any ideas of what to try out or maybe optional experimental builds, anything of the sort, please let me know. I'm very open-minded, and I do intend to continually remake these videos as I see fit every few weeks to months and update them as needed. And I utilize all of the feedback that you guys provide down below. So once again, thank you for everything, for watching and supporting this. And until next time, everybody, take it easy.